Um, Today, my granddaughter, her ninth birthday was today, and so spent the day celebrating with her, her classmates, her cheerleading squad that she hangs out with, and so let me tell you, absolutely exhausted when there's 20 little kids, 9-year-olds, 8 to 10-year-olds running around going crazy, right? And I was telling her mom, like, and this is even without sugar, so we hadn't got to the sugar part yet, but once they got it, it was over. It was a wrap, you know what I mean? And so my wife had baked some homemade stuff for it yesterday. That's why I didn't get no video posted. Was up late last night trying to just be there and support her because she was, frustrated with trying to bake a homemade, like, from scratch cake. And I'm like, look, she ain't even gonna care. Just put it out of a box, right? And so, but that's what good grandmas do, right? Like they try to do the extra for their grandkids, you know what I mean? And I mean, that's what good people do, right? Like, good people go out of their way to try to help people extra special, right? Like, we don't just do the run of the mill around here. And that's kind of what I posted today on Facebook, like, raise your standards, right? I don't know if you have standards for your life, right? And I feel like I talk about this a lot, but it's the truth, right? Like, what are the things that you allow around you, right? What are the things that you allow in your life? What are the things? I know, and I know there's sermons that I preach that I ask the question, like, what's the expectation for people that are a part of your world, right? What's the expectation for people who are in your life, or to even be a part of your life? Because I do believe that we have standards and expectations for how people have to behave, things they have to do, things they have to be a part of, right? Like, all those are realities for us. And, like, for me, early in recovery was you had to be clean, right? Like, you couldn't still be drinking, still getting high. Like, I couldn't have you in my world. And I went through periods of, like, you need to be a Jesus follower, right? And now I want to surround myself with people who want more for themselves than what they have currently, right? Like, I don't want to settle for nothing, right? I don't ever want to be satisfied with my life, right? Because that's when complacency begins to creep in, that I become so satisfied that I don't try to do anymore. Because once you're satisfied, right, what's the need to want to do anymore, right? And I know in the literature it says that complacency is a hindrance to people with substantial clean time. And so, like, I don't want to get it. My sponsor used to always say, you're either getting better or you're getting worse, right? And so I have to ask the question, like, if I become complacent because I am satisfied with my life or the people that I'm surrounded by, am I trying to get better, right? Or am I just doing the bare minimum, or going through the motions, right? Like, all those questions I have to ask. But, like, when I really think about it, am I really willing to raise the bar, right? For the people that are in my life. But and the reason I say it that way is because what I have to realize is, when I raise the bar for you to be in my life, I also have to live by that same standard, right? And my question becomes, am I willing to live by the standard that I set? So I was listening to another guy the other day named Andy Elliott, right? And he did a little short, and I'm sure it's part of a longer video that he has somewhere, but he was saying, like, everyone who works for me has to have a six-pack. Everyone who is going to be hired by my company needs to have a six-pack. And if they don't, they get fired, right? And what he says is, there's some of you guys going, ooh, he can't do that, he can't require that, I'm gonna sue him. He's like, but the reality is, like, I want to change the culture of the people that are around me, right? I want to change the culture of the people who are in my company, because people are gonna make decisions for themselves on whether they want to be a part of this, whatever I'm doing, or not, right? And I'm not for everybody, and I know that, and I don't have to be, right? All I have to do is love you, right? And so whether you love me or not, that's not even the question, because what you do doesn't affect my life, but what I do in my own life affects my life, right? And I'm the one who's responsible for my life, right? My recovery, and the reason my life looks the way it does is because of the effort that I put into it. And so like when I start thinking about like raising the standard, what is it that I want people around me to have to be willing to do, to be a part of, right? Because I want people who are elevating their life, right? I had shared in a meeting the other day, like one of my biggest struggles when I listen to people sharing the same stuff for the last 10, 15, 20 years, right? When people are still sharing that it's about the drug, right? That they haven't gotten loaded. Nobody cares. Once you've been clean 30, 60, 90 days, nobody cares anymore that you're not getting high, because you're not getting high. We already know that. But what are you doing to change your life, right? Because what the literature tells me is what I really needed was a personality change. Why do I need a personality change? Because I have a self-destructive personality that's crying out for failure, that's trying to kill me, right? Like my personality is trying to kill me. And that's like me at my core, right? That's like me at grassroots level, that's bare bone. And so like when I start thinking about like, I have to have a standard of people that I associate myself with, right? Because you'll get me loaded before I get you clean. And if you're not moving, like I can't surround myself with crabs, right? And like crabs are, if you know anything about crabs, when people are putting them in the pot to boil them, as one crab starts to try to get out of the pot because it's hot in there, the other crabs begin to pull it down, right? Like they're trying to get it back, like. And it's almost like they're like, if we ain't getting out of here, neither are you, right? And misery loves company, right? And so like the question that I have to ask is like, do I want miserable people around me? Do I want drama, toxic filled, like chaotic people in my life? I understand that there's some people that are new, or that don't have the understanding that I have, or haven't been taught the things I've been taught, that I have to tolerate for a period of time. I understand that. But if you want to stay there, which is a choice, to stay in chaos and to stay in toxicity and to stay in drama, I don't have to, right? I don't have to allocate room for you in my life, because you're not living by the standard that I want for myself, right? And the standard I want is elevation, right? The standard I want is to become better than I was yesterday, right? The standard I want is to change my family tree. The standard I want is to be in good physical shape. The standard I want is people who have growth mindsets to move and become the people God always intended for them to be, the people that God created them to be. And so like I start thinking about like, am I willing to raise the standard for my life, right? Because I tell people all the time, like, I won't ask you to do anything I can't do myself, or I won't ask you to do anything I already haven't done myself. And I'm one of those, I push the envelope, right? Like I'm willing to go to extremes to see what I'm made of, right? Or to find out like what is in this body, or what kind of heart do I have, what kind of drive do I have. And even in the ability to push myself, I've learned that there's still lots of flaws that I have to work through. There are lots of things that I say I'm gonna do that I don't do. There's lots of things that I've started but I haven't finished. There's lots of things that I just do the bare minimum of. There's lots of these things, and what I find myself doing is focusing on the things that I have done well and accomplished, and trying to ignore the spaces where I haven't followed through, or I don't do it very well, or I'm just doing the bare minimum, not like giving it everything that I have. And that has to change. That has to change, because if it doesn't, then I'm gonna stay right where I'm at, I was, in one of the videos I was listening to of Andy today, he says there can be nobody better at your business than you, right? And if you are leading people and you are not the best, you're no longer the leader. And those things hit me, right? Like I have to really put into perspective, like, what am I doing to grow my businesses, right? How am I trying to be the best person in that industry, right? At least in my space, right? In my surroundings. And some of them I'm not, right? I'm not trying to grow. I'm not trying to get better at. I'm good where I'm at. Like, if I get honest with myself, I'm good where I'm at, and that's where complacency kicks in, right? And that can't be my reality. It can't. I have to continually strive to become better, and part of it is, I say this a lot, but I'm saying it for myself, right? Like, I need to hear me saying this to me so that I know that there's still things that I need to work on, because I can get real superficial. I can get real egotistical and arrogant. I can get really full of myself and thinking that I can do a lot of things, because I am very skilled at a lot of things. I'm a jack of all trades, but master of none, right? And that's the old saying. Like, there's lots of things that I do well, but none of them am I a master of, or am I a professional at. And that's what's sad, right? Because I need to figure that out, and so, like, having these realizations as I'm processing and listening and writing and thinking through things, I have to figure out, what is it that I'm really trying to do, right? Where am I really trying to go? Where is God really leading and calling me to be, so that I can spend the time becoming proficient, a master of that area, and I'm not settling today, and I hope you don't settle today, right? I hope you're not just happy with the bare minimum, or it's good enough, right? Like, enough isn't enough. And so, like, I want to challenge people that surround yourself with people who want more, who want what you want, right? I can't be around everybody. Unfortunately, I just can't. And so part of it is, I need to make everyone feel like they're important. Yes, 100%. That I totally agree with that. Everybody has a place in my life, but not everybody deserves my time. They just don't. You know what I mean? And so, like, I'm willing to help. I love people, but, like, if you want my time, you got to be willing to move in some direction, right? And I tell my sponsors that all the time. Like, if we talk about something and you don't do what I ask, we're done talking about it, because I can't help you in your chaos. Like, I just can't. Like, if you want to bring something to the table, I'll give you a suggestion and we move through it. Great. And if it works, bad. That's amazing. If it doesn't, we'll keep trying, right? Because I don't know everything. And so, like, can we raise the standard, right? Can I expect more out of the people around me, because I expect more out of myself? And am I accomplishing the things that I'm expecting from other people, right? Because if I can't accomplish it, I can't expect it from you. Like, that's the one thing, that's like the golden rule for my life. Like, if I can't do it, or I can't accomplish or fulfill, I can't ask you to do it. And so, raise your standards, right? And don't be afraid of them. Like, I don't do what I do to make friends. I don't do what I do to have associates, right? I do what I do because I love you and I love people, and I want to tell you the truth. But it begins with me telling myself the truth. That's where it begins. Everything ends and begins with me. It does. And I hope you live by that same rule too. Like, everything ends. You're responsible for the way your life turns out. I'll put my life in Jesus's hands, but I'm not putting my life in anyone else's hands to do with me as they see fit. I'm the one who's going to be in control of that. So, I don't know if I say anything that helped you, but I sure hope I did. If I haven't, keep listening. I'm sure one day the hope is that I will have something to say that might help you out. Just know that God loves you today, and so do I. Have a great day, and God bless you.